How's it going, everybody? Doing a drink review here and a eating hard candy NFL recap of Week 13. I figured I'd throw the hard candy in this time. I might have done it one other time with that. It's going to be going up Saturday, this video, so it's going to be right before the new week starts, the Thursday game. I'm filming this Thursday as well. I talked about it in my last video. The PS5 collection as well, I filmed on Thursday. It's going to go up a little late. The Steelers-Patriots game already be played, but whatever. The drink I have here today is, I'm pretty sure I did not do this one. It's the only G Fuel that I found that I haven't done. The PewDiePie energy drink. The YouTuber. Didn't he get big originally? The reactions, he's playing like horror games and he's going nuts and people are like, oh my god. And he built a ton of subs, so that's awesome. I don't know, I'm pretty sure I did not drink this one. It smells like cough syrup. They have like this one. The shop right I go to has like all of the G Fuels, at least. I don't know how many they've actually made, so probably not all of them, but the Tetris one, the Sonic one, this one. There was two other ones, I think. Oh, the Wampa Fruit from not Jak and Daxter, Crash Bandicoot. Wow, that literally tastes like a cough syrup. It's like I guess it's like a cherry-ish. It looks like that's what he's holding, right? Some cherries. It literally tastes like cough syrup to me. And I don't mind cough syrup like this, that tastes like this. I never had a problem with cough syrup when I was younger and stuff. It's not too bad. Literally, that's all I can describe it to me. It really tastes like a cough syrup, a cherry cough syrup. This is distributed by G Fuel LLC in West Babylon, New York. That is not far from where I'm at. Probably about 15 minutes. Actually, it might be a little closer than that. Yeah. These have 300 milligrams of caffeine per 16. I assume this is 16, yes. Or a pint. I'll jump into this NFL in a second here. I'm losing interest in this as I continue to drink it. I'd probably go with like a 6.5 on it. It's not bad. It's just a cough syrup to me, a cherry cough syrup, which is not necessarily a bad thing if you like that taste. It's not bad, but it's not. I feel like some of the other G Fuels I liked a little bit more. But it's on point with it. I assume that's cherry. Then again, I'm not an expert on actually reviewing these things. Oh yes, and then the consistency of... I kept trying to say texture, but I'm like, I don't know what the word is, and one of you commented, it's like, consistency is the word you'd use. I was like, yes, that makes... Obviously, there's no real texture to a drink. It is pretty consistent with that taste, though. But anyway, I'm gonna go about 6.5 on this one. It's not terrible by any means. It's a little better than average, I guess, right? 6.5. I'm hoping I have enough of these left, because I tend to go to town on these things. Yeah, there should be enough. When I'm doing hard candy stuff, I gotta try to make them last, but it's very hard to do that. first game we got. I wanted to do this on the computer again, but I already had the laptop open after I filmed the PS5 collection, so I'm just continuing with this. Cowboys beat the Seahawks 41-35. Bit of a high-scoring game there. It was back and forth battle too. Wow. 21-20 Seattle, 28-20 Seattle, 20-27. They were up 35-27 in the fourth, and then the Cowboys came back. Not a lot of defense apparently going on. Cowboys moved 9-3. Seahawks 6-6. So the Cowboys, this is another home game. It seems like the Cowboys are playing at home. Every time I look at a Cowboys game, I feel like they're playing at home. I mean, they're probably going on like a 3-game road trip. You know? So I'm pretty sure they're perfect at home, though. So all 3 of their losses are on the road, I guess. Geno Smith, 3 touchdowns and a pick, 334 yards. Zach Charbonnet, 60 yards, rushing a TD. Geno Smith also rushed for TD, so nice little fantasy game for him. I don't see his fumble yet. Oof. DK Metcalf with a freaking game. 6 catches, 134 yards, and 3 TDs. Somebody was getting lit up in the Cowboys secondary. Damn. No fumbles. They had no fumbles. They did sack Prescott 4 times. Cowboys. Prescott, another great game at home. 299, 3 touchdowns, no picks. Pollard, 68 yards rushing and a TD. Oh, here's another great game. 12 catches for CeeDee Lamb for 116 yards and a touchdown. Ferguson and Cook each have receiving TDs as well. He was spreading the ball around pretty nicely. He typically does. I feel Prescott usually gets everybody involved. They only sacked Geno Smith once. So it's just a high-scoring game. It does happen sometimes. Cowboys are going for that division. We'll get to that. They gained a game. Spoiler alert. Even though everybody knows what happened this week. Or last week. The Colts beat the Titans 38-21 in OT. They would have had to have tied that game at the end, right? No. Oh, wow. It was actually an overtime game where the Titans tied it in regulation. They actually got the field goal, but the game doesn't end on a field goal. Every team gets one possession. They do it in college. The NFL finally is like, oh, duh. But if you get a touchdown in your first possession, the game's over, so the NFL had to make it a little different. But they got the field goal to take the lead, and then the Colts won it with a touchdown in overtime. Not even through 2 games. I already finished this. Minshew had 2 TDs and no picks. 312 yards. I guess Taylor didn't play for the Colts. Zach Moss, 51 yards rushing. Pittman Jr., 105 yards receiving, 11 catches and a touchdown. Alec Pierce, 3 catches for 100 yards and a TD. Quite the average there, 33.3. Minshew loses a fumble. Julian Blackman loses a fumble as well. 2 sacks for Abukum. I'm probably saying that wrong. 2 sacks for Paye. I'm probably saying that wrong too. They got 6 sacks on Levis. I still don't know these people's names. Somebody commented the right pronunciations for some of the names, and I'd probably still get them wrong. Levis had 224 yards and a touchdown. Derrick Henry, nice game, 102 yards rushing and 2 TDs. 75 yards rushing for Spears, so they ran the ball well. Hopkins had a TD and 75 yards. Levis loses a fumble. Stonehouse loses a fumble. Colts 7-5. They're definitely in the playoffs right now. Here's the game of the week. Chargers beat the Patriots 6-0. The Pats are terrible. Like, oh my God. 2-10. Chargers are 5-7. Both field goals came by Cameron Digger in the second quarter. That's the only time you saw points was the second quarter. Wow. Used to see games like that back in the day. Pretty consistently, actually. The Ravens used to get into games when their defense was sick and their offense wasn't that great. They'd win like a 9-6 game. Herbert has 212 yards, no TDs. They run the ball for 29 yards as a team. 14 carries, 18 yards for Eckler. Keenan Allen has 58 yards receiving. They don't fumble the ball. They sack the Patriots quarterback, which was not Mac Jones, Bailey, Zappy. See, that's what I think the person told me the pronunciation. They actually ran the ball for 148 yards as a team, with Elliott with 52, Ezekiel Elliott. 64 yards with Devontae Parker. There's no K in his name. Devontae. Stevenson loses a fumble. They still had over 200 yards of offense, so I'm surprised they got in the end zone. Patriots offense is so bad. It's so bad. They need a complete. They're doing what they should do. They should lose all these games. Try to get that number 1 pick and start to build. Lions beat the Saints 33-28. So they bounced back from their loss last week. They are 9-3. The Saints are 5-7. The Lions blew a bit of a lead here, but still won. They were up 24-7 at a point. Goff, 2 TDs, no picks, 213 yards. 60 yards rushing for Gibbs. 56 and a touchdown rushing for Montgomery. Jameson Williams also has a rushing TD. Laporte, 140 yards receiving and a TD. Some good receiving games this week. St. Brown has a receiving TD as well. Derek Carr got hurt in this game, I believe. He had a touchdown, a pick, 226 yards. Winston came in 41 yards. Taysom Hill, 59 yards, rushing a TD. Kamara, 51 yards, rushing 2 TDs. Olave, 119 yards receiving. Jimmy Graham, really? He's back on the Saints? He had a receiving touchdown. I thought he retired. Carr fumbled. That's Detroit's taking that division, probably. I think everybody else is 6-6 outside of the Bears. Packers and Vikings, I believe, are 6-6. Falcons beat the Jets in another offensive battle, 13-8. I can't believe Denver lost to some of the teams they lost to. And that's not saying Denver's great, but they lost to some bad teams. Falcons are in first place, I believe. They might be 6-6 now. Yep. Jets dropped to 4-8. They did get a safety, the Jets, in this game. That's always fun. The poor Jets defense, it's so good. And it's going to be so wasted. And obviously got screwed by the Rodgers injury, but all of a sudden, Rodgers can come back next year, be great, and their D is going to suck. Ritter has a touchdown, 121 yards, no picks. Robinson, 59 yards rushing. Pitts, 51 yards receiving. Pruitt had the receiving TD for the Falcons. Falcons ended up winning that division. It's still anybody's division, though. Tim Boyle, a pick at 148 yards. Wow, Trevor Siemian getting a little action, former Bronco QB. 66 yards. He got sacked 3 times. Delvin Cook, 35 yards. Breece Hall, 13 carries, 16 yards. Gibson, 77 yards receiving. Siemian fumbled 3 times and lost one of them. Delvin Cook fumbled. Jeez. 4-8 Jets, 6-6 Falcons. Falcons not doing bad. You gotta take advantage when a division sucks. You need your team. If your team's not that good, just take advantage and get a home playoff game. But you probably shouldn't if you don't have a better record than who you play. Like they'll end up hosting the Cowboys, and somehow they'd win. The Cardinals beat up on the Steelers 24-10. That's a bad loss for Pittsburgh, and that was in Pittsburgh, I believe. They're 7-5. Arizona moves to 3-10. Yeah, that's a bad loss. Kyler Murray, touchdown, no picks, 145 yards. James Conner, 105 yards rushing, 2 TDs. McBride, 89 yards receiving, and a touchdown. They had a couple fumbles, but they didn't lose any. Steelers must not have been as bad. Trubisky, 117 yards and a touchdown. Pickett had 70 yards. I guess he got benched or he got hurt. 63 yards rushing for Harris, 59 yards rushing for Warren. I mean, they ran the ball 130 yards. Pickens has 86 yards receiving. That guy's having a pretty good year. Johnson had a touchdown. Trubisky lost a fumble. They had 2 sacks on Murray. 7-5, so they're still in the playoffs, I believe, at the moment. But you can't be losing those games. Dolphins beat up on the Commanders 45-15. They go to 9-3 as well. Washington's 4-9. Hill has another 2 TDs, I believe. He's going to break the receiving record, and I hope he does it in 16 games so he can be like, I did it in 16, it didn't take the extra game. 2 has 2 TDs, 280 yards, no picks. Akane. It's another one I think somebody gave him the name. Mustard had a rushing touchdown. The other guy had 2 rushing touchdowns. Hill had 157 yards and 2 TDs. I gotta look at his yards again. So they played 12 games, so they got 5 games left. He has 1,481 yards and 12 TDs. He's averaging a TD a game. He's got 93 catches. 1,481. I think he needs less than 500 yards now to break that record. He will do that, possibly even before the 16th game of the season. He's having a hell of a year. He's great. He's great on the Chiefs too, and he's just taking it to another level on them. Hell of a year for him. Van Ginkel had the pick. Let's check out Washington. Howell has a pick. 127 yards. No TDs. 3 sacked 3 times. 53 yards rushing for Robinson Jr. Samuel led the room for receiving with 165 yards. There's just nothing happening there. I mean, that's the Dolphins division now. My Broncos. They lost to Texans 22-17. I know Wilson threw 3 picks. He almost matched his season high. His season total. They had chances to win that game, but it didn't happen. They go to 6-6. Houston 7-5, so they still doing well. Wilson, like I said, touchdown, 3 picks, 186 yards. Russell Wilson had a rushing TD. Williams had 46 yards rushing. Sutton has another receiving TD, 77 yards. Judy, 51 yards. They got freaking 5 sacks on Stroud, but it wasn't enough. The picks were key. What are you going to do? It happens. Stroud had a touchdown, 274 yards. He was sacked 5 times. How many times did they sack Wilson? 3. Pierce, 41 yards rushing and a touchdown. Nico Collins rips it up. I think Tank Dell got hurt in this game. He had 191 yards receiving a TD, so somebody was getting lit up on Denver. It wasn't going to be Surtain, I'm sure. It was the other guy, whoever that is. But he has a hell of a game. Just a fairly tight game. Somebody had 2 sacks. Anderson Jr. I just want to see Denver get over 500 if they get a 9-8. If they never made the playoffs, they were making some kind of noise. But I think I said it. So I replied to a comment. Denver could, when they were 6-5, they could easily shit the bed here and lose the rest. They were 7-6 a couple of years ago. I think it was the first year they introduced 17 games into the season. I'm pretty sure they ended up losing the final 4 games to go 7-10. Like I said, I got to see the Broncos win 3 Super Bowls. I will take that, and I will accept the fact that they probably. Well, I might say, you never know with football, but like I said, I don't care enough anymore. They lost that game, and I was just like, okay. The Bucks 5-7 now beat the Panthers, who were 1-11, 21-18. Bryce Young a pick, 178 yards, no TDs. Hubbard, 104 yards rushing, 2 TDs. Nice game for him. Mingo, 69 yards receiving. Let's see how Skip's favorite, Baker Mayfield, a touchdown to pick, 202 yards, 84 yards rushing for White. Mike Evans, this guy, man, what a year he's having. Godwin had a rushing touchdown as well. White had a rushing touchdown, 84 yards. 162 yards receiving for Mike Evans and a TD. He's having a hell of a season. Holy shit. He's got 1,012 yards, 61 catches. He's got quite the average. 16-yard average, 10 TDs. He's having a great year, and he's up there. He's getting up there. He's a hell of a receiver. He's had a hell of a career. Oops. Back to the Bucks. He was the guy. They did sack Bryce Young 4 times. 5-7. They're still, like I said, they're still in the division race. It's going to go down to the wire. The Panthers don't even have their first right, so the Bears will just like keep losing. Panthers, right? Because the Bears have their pick. Rams beat up on the Browns. Kind of fucked now that Watson's gone. I think they're 7-5 now too. They've lost 2 in a row. Carolina, Los Angeles 6-6. I think Cleveland's gonna fall out of that because of the injury. Flacco though, 2 TDs and a pick for the Browns. Flacco getting some work. 254 yards, 48 yards rushing for Hunt. 83 yards receiving for Moore. Bryant and Ford have receiving touchdowns for the Browns. They do not get a sack on. Is it Stafford or is he hurt? Stafford has 3 touchdowns, no picks. 279 yards. Williams, 88 yards rushing and a touchdown for the Rams. I can't say this guy's name. Puka is his first name, I think. 105 yards and a TD. Robinson with a touchdown. Cup with a touchdown. John Johnson III had a pick for the Rams. It's just going to be tough for Cleveland. You never know. It's football. Three games left. The 49ers destroy the Eagles. 42-19 in Philadelphia. So they started 5-0, I think, the Niners. Then they lost 3 in a row. Then they've won 4 in a row. I think maybe they were 6-0, but well, they were up 28-13. So it started to get, it was 21-13 in the third quarter. They were kind of beating them up all game, it seems. And they beat up on the Cowboys as well, 49ers. Purdy, 4 TDs, no picks, 314 yards. McCaffrey, another rushing touchdown, 93 yards. Deebo Samuel, another rushing TD. And he has 2 receiving TDs, Samuel, with 116 yards. And a lot of good receiving weeks. Jennings, a receiving TD, and Brandon Ayuk, a receiving TD. Kinlaw, 2 sacks. Oh, look, Randy Gregory. The guy the Broncos signed from the Cowboys who did shit. Eagles go to 10-2, so now the Cowboys gained a game. 49ers 9-3. Let's see what the Eagles players did. Eagles still in first. It's all about they respond, right? Hurts had a TD, no picks. 291 yards. Mariota got in there. I don't know if that's just because the game was out of hand. Hurts is the leading rusher with 20 yards and a touchdown. A.J. Brown, 114 yards. Devonta Smith, 96 yards and a receiving TD. Just one of those games, right? So that was on the Cowboys. Only a game out. They play. I think the Cowboys play the Dolphins, don't they? No. Who do they play? I'll have to look after this. Packers beat the Chiefs 27-19. Denver could have gained a game if they had won. Chiefs got 8-4. Green Bay 6-6. Mahomes a touchdown and a pick, sacked 3 times, 210 yards. Not a good game for him. Isaiah Pacheco, 110 yards and a touchdown rushing. 81 yards for Kelsey. Noah Gray had the receiving TD. The Chiefs look off, and I think it's because they have no receivers outside of Kelsey. Mahomes does a pretty good job of getting mediocre to average to under average receivers better, but it will eventually become a problem. Jordan Love, 3 TDs, no picks, 276 yards. Dillon has 73 yards rushing. Christian Watson, 71 yards and 2 receiving TDs. Ben Sims, a catch for a yard and a touchdown. They got 3 sacks on Mahomes, which is kind of a feat in itself. Like I said, it doesn't matter. The Chiefs will still take that division. It would have been funny, though, if Denver won. It was only a game out, but it's hard for any of those other teams to put real pressure on the Chiefs. And in a battle on Monday night, the Bengals beat the Jags 34-31 in overtime. Jags go to 8-4, Bengals go to 6-6. I'm pretty sure Browning had a good game for the Bengals. 354 yards passing and a touchdown. Tyler Boyd throws a pick. Isn't he their tight end? I guess they were trying to trick players. Mixon 2 rushing touchdowns. Browning has a rushing touchdown as well. Mixon 68 yards rushing. Another huge receiving game. Jamar Chase 11 catches, 149 yards and a touchdown. A lot of really good receiving games this week. That's a big win that keeps him in the hunt, the Bengals. Because Burrow is gone for the year, right? Trevor Lawrence, 2 touchdowns, no picks, 258 yards. Etienne Jr., 45 yards rushing and a touchdown. Lawrence rushes for a touchdown. Ingram, 82 yards, receiving and a TD. Parker Washington has the other TD for the Jags. Actually, the Jags are in a tight division race because the Colts are right behind them at 7-5. Who else in that division? The Titans are done. Oh, wait, the Texans are 7-5 as well. Did I say them already? No. So Texans and combined. So that's a tight division right there. And so that ends that week. I want to see who's playing this week. Actually, I gotta just go. I'm gonna have to go back 600. No, I don't have to. Okay, good. Let's go to. I hit the wrong button. Yeah, it's gonna month it up. Tampa's at Atlanta. Like I said, New England's playing the Pittsburgh tonight. Detroit's at Chicago. Indy at Cincy. Jags at Cleveland. It's got some important games. Denver's at Detroit. Denver needs to win that Chargers game. They won't. Dolphins have Tennessee. So the Eagles are playing the Cowboys. Oh, shit. Big implications. Green Bay at the Giants. Minnesota at Vegas. Seattle at San Fran. Buffalo at KC. Carolina at New Orleans. Rams at Baltimore. The bye weeks are Arizona and Washington. But yeah, just a junk review here of the booty bye, the Chief Fuel 6.5. Decent, but not great. And eating hard candy, NFL Week 13 recap. Thanks for checking this out, and have a good day.